I never had any good things really pointed out to me about me. So, of course, I'm going to believe whatever my parents and whatever people tell me about me, because I don't know quite yet how to formulate an opinion about myself. So what I was told about me, I'm going to believe it. But as I got older, I started to slowly realize that they were wrong about me. And when I say they, people that bullied me, my parents, my mom, they were wrong. And it feels good to say that. They were wrong. I'm not tearing up. Yes, I am.
Can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey girlfriends, and to everybody else, what up YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Hey Girlfriend Visual Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about self-esteem and how to raise your self-esteem. This is one of my, I don't want to say favorite topics, but I light up when I talk about this, because as someone that has suffered from low self-esteem and suffering not really being sure of herself and suffered, just from the likes of that, and to be where I'm at now, like 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I would have never imagined myself being on camera doing this or talking to you all or doing any of the things I do now. And it's all because I had to raise my self-esteem, and I'm going to help you to do the same. All right. So let's get into it. All right. I first want to go over the signs that you may have low self-esteem, if you're maybe wondering if you suffer from that or if you have that problem. Some signs that I got off of, this is from verywellmind.com. Some signs would be you lack self-trust, you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you engage in people-pleasing behavior, you feel little control over your life, and you don't reinforce boundaries. Those are just some signs of low self-esteem, and I embodied all of those at one point. And from the same website, from verywellmind.com, they describe self-esteem as it refers to a person's overall sense of self-value. It is essentially your opinion about yourself. It can encompass a range of factors such as your sense of identity, your self-confidence, feelings of competence, and feelings of belonging. All right, so I now want to talk about some ways and some reasons why you may have low self-esteem, because I feel like when you understand your why and you understand what caused you to be a certain way, it's that much easier and it helps you that much more to, first of all, understand yourself, and to, second of all, so that you can ease your way out of that and go into the more positive thinking about yourself, because that's really what your low self-esteem comes from. It's from a bunch of negative thoughts that you believe about yourself. If you had anyone during your upbringing, your teenage years, anywhere in your life, not just your parents, anywhere in your life, meaning this can be from a high school love gone wrong, a high school coach, teacher, anywhere. So what happens is that someone along the way made you believe some negative thoughts about yourself, and it's stuck here. It's like on a loop. It's on the loop, replaying, and it's like you carry it throughout your life and throughout your being, and you make it who you are because that's who you've been told that you are. So you start to believe it, and it's like you can't think any other way but that way, and it lowers your self-esteem, because it's like, I am what these people said I was. I am what I believe I am because of how they made me believe. Now, you don't know right away, you don't know at all that that's where it's coming from. You're almost taking it, it's like it's your own. Like whatever however you've been programmed to believe about yourself, you don't really identify that it came from somewhere else. Or if you're on your healing journey and you're starting to realize where it come from and you're breaking out of it, it's still hard because it's like it's been on a negative loop over and over in your head. So, of course, it's going to dampen your self-esteem. And so, I, for one, had that same problem. Like, I believed a lot of the things about myself that I was told about myself from a very young age. And I felt I was bullied a lot, not only at school, but at home. And I was the butt of my mom and sister's jokes. Now, how can I say this? So I don't want to victimize myself, but at the same time, when you're young and you already don't feel so good about yourself, and when you're young, you're trying to learn about yourself. But whatever you're told about yourself during those years of when you're young and, teenage and below, I believe, you're going to believe it. It's going to carry with you. And so, I was made fun of being fat. I had eczema really bad. I was made fun of for that. I was made fun of for a lot of things, and that dampened your self-esteem. Like, say if you had a condition when you were younger, whether it was eczema, whether it was because you were chubbier than the rest, whether it was because you didn't have the best clothes. It could be anything. And if you were made fun of for that, then you start to believe that about yourself. If there's no one around telling you to believe differently, you're going to have that programming in your head, and you're going to replay it over and over again. And when you go out into the world, that's what you're gonna, exude. And that's because that's what you believe about yourself. Because think about it. Someone can tell you some good things about yourself, like, oh, you're so beautiful. And you won't believe it because you're still playing that negative loop in your head over and over. Well, I was always made fun of for being ugly and having eczema and being chubby, or not having the flyest clothes, or not having my hair done, whatever it was. You're replaying that. That's stuck in your head. So when anybody else come along and tell you something nice, you're not going to believe it. I know I didn't for a long time. And it was just like, it didn't, and it's crazy how we can hang on to the bad, negative things so tightly, but we have a hard time holding on to the positive things. And that's where you can change all that. I did. You can change all of that, and you can actually reprogram your mindset to believe good things about yourself. And I just started by looking in the mirror, saying good things about myself. And so actually, I made a list. So we're going to get into this list. I made a big list because I want to help y'all, because it's like, y'all deserve to have high self-esteem, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what. You deserve to feel good about yourself, and you deserve to feel like that you can, have high self-esteem. You can be that girl. Okay? So, and I want to interject that I'll be doing some bonus content on my Patreon. Like I always do. Every podcast, I'm always going to have some bonus content on my Patreon, because I can't say it all here. So I want to say some on my Patreon, and to give you a little bonus content. And if you want coaching, that's on my Patreon as well. So I think I'm going to go on my Patreon and do some bonus content on how to build self-trust, how to reinforce boundaries as well. Those are the things that I feel are really important. And I can't touch on all of that here, because this would be like an hour-long podcast if I went into all of the things I stated in the beginning, like how to get over people-pleasing. Oh, there's already some people-pleasing content on my Patreon, so check that out, on how to get over people-pleasing, change your mindset. I'm always talking about those things on my Patreon. And on there, I get a little personal, too. So I don't want to put all my business out on YouTube, And so check that out. I got some old podcasts on there. And if you want coaching, it's there too. Just wanted to interject that as well before I move on. So I want to get to the good part. I want to talk about the ways I improve my self-esteem and how I came up, because I feel like it can help someone. And so let me give you my tips that helped me. So, number one thing I did was I challenged what I was made to feel about myself, like I was just stating. And so I remember I was made to feel like that I was not beautiful because I was fat. I was not beautiful because I had eczema. I was not beautiful because I had these flaws that was always pointed out to me. I never had any good things really pointed out to me about me. So of course, I'm gonna believe whatever my parents and whatever people tell me about me, because I don't know quite yet how to formulate an opinion about myself. So what I was told about me, I'm gonna believe it. But as I got older, I started to slowly realize that they were wrong about me. And when I say they, people that bullied me, my parents, my mom, they were wrong. And it feels good to say that. They were wrong. I'm not tearing up. Yes, I am. But no. And I've done this work before, but it's like just my inner child hearing that, it's like she lit up or something lit up. But I want you to do that. That's why this works. I want you to look in the mirror, and whatever someone made you feel about yourself, look yourself dead in the face in the mirror. Because I'm looking in this camera and I'm like, damn, I'm looking at myself saying that shit. But I want you to do the same. Just look yourself dead in the mirror and say, they were wrong. They were wrong. And it's just simple as that. And as I got older, I realized that it was just projection. It's always projection. Like, people may have not understood weight, eczema. They may not understood, me and that I look different. Anything like that. And that's all it was projection. And so I started telling myself good things about me. I challenged those thoughts with a more positive thought. And I was like, you know what? I am fat, but so what? So what? I like me. I like my fat. And I started saying, like, what's so wrong with it? It's like you are talking to you now. You're no longer getting full of someone else. You're getting full of yourself. And so once you're getting full of yourself, that's raising your self-esteem, because you're filling yourself up with you and your thoughts. And so I was like, and I would just really look at myself like, okay, so what's so wrong with it? I mean, I don't like my arms. It's going to be some things you don't like. You can get secure about your insecurities. And I was like, what's so wrong about it? What's so wrong about having a little eczema? I can't control it. All I can do is tolerate it. And so once you challenge those thoughts, it's like you're telling yourself, oh shit, there's nothing wrong with me. And you have to do this daily. It's like, you think about it. If you have years and years of programming, of believing certain things about you, it's gonna take that much longer to reprogram the thoughts that you're made to believe about you. But you gotta put your own thoughts in your head and tell yourself, I'm beautiful. I like how I look. I like how I do. I like me. And I don't care if anybody else does. I like me. And that's that on that. And then it's like, once you start doing that, you're more prone to accept kind words. Because I guarantee you, it's been some people in your ear already. Some people telling you good things about you. But you probably just couldn't hear it for the noise already in your head about yourself. And so once you start to tell yourself more the positive things, you're going to be more open to receive positive. And it's going to just build you up more and more and more. And you get it? All right, Beyonce has this, it was Destiny's Child's song, but Beyonce said, there's plenty of people who don't like me, but there's 10 times more who love me, and I love myself. That right there is the truth. Because there's always going to be somebody that don't like you, and it's probably because they don't like themselves, to be honest. But it's always going to be somebody who don't like you. You can't be one of them. That's what I've learned. And it's going to be 10 times more that love you. There's going to be some people that love you, and that's what you focus on. So, yeah. Next one. And I started doing more of what makes me feel good, things that I'm good at. And so I feel like when I started doing the things that I'm good at, I liked the results I got from the things that I did that I was good at. And liking what I'm good at helped me to like me more, because it's like, look what I can do. I did this. I'm good at this. Like, I'm the shit. And that's what it started making me feel like. For instance, for me, it was doing what I'm doing now, building my brand with I've Been That Girl. I have over 90,000 followers on there. And I started from the bottom. I remember when I had like a couple of hundred. I remember when I thought I was doing something with 6,000. Now I'm at 90,000, and it's growing every day. And it's because I'm growing and I'm doing more and I'm getting better at it, and I'm growing and I'm just doing the damn thing. And when you do the damn thing, baby, when you do what you good at, and it may take some time for you to find that or do it or to get to it, because you may have had someone telling you that you're not good at it, or telling you that you can't do it, or telling you that it's not a good idea, or telling you that it's not for you. But never mind what they say. What do you feel? What are you feeling here? Do it. Just do it. Like, break out of it. And what motivated me is seeing other people do this, and other girls being out there, and other women, I'm like, I can do that. And if it influenced me, and so if it influenced me, I'm like, I can do it. And so that's why I like being an influencer, because I have been influenced and it has really, really helped me. And so I'm like paying back to favor. I'm like, I've been influenced so heavily by people I've seen. Let's just pass it on. Let's keep passing on, And so find what you're good at and do it, no matter what it is, and work on it every day. And just, it can be something so small, something so big. It doesn't matter what it is. Something simple. I want you to do it. And once you see your work and see what you're good at and see yourself in it, it's going to liven you up. And that's going to build your self-esteem as well. Let's see some other things. Oh, this is a big one. I allowed myself to make mistakes and reminded myself that I'm not perfect, I'm learning. That is a big one. So I think sometimes somewhere along the way, someone maybe made you feel like you couldn't make mistakes, or that you've been hard on yourself about mistakes and you feel like you need to be perfect. That need to feel like you're perfect can lower your self-esteem, because the reality is you're not. No one's perfect. And it's okay. What it is that you got to understand that you're human. And how you build wisdom and growth and character is through the mistakes. If you're not making any mistakes, then you're not growing and you're not doing anything. You're just standing still and not making a move. So you got to learn that those mistakes hurt in the moment. They do. And sometimes they can hurt you. And sometimes it can hurt what you're trying to get to, and it can set you back. But I feel like how I deal with mistakes now, how I feel like it's not even really a setback. I feel like it was like meant, because whatever it was that I did, whatever decision I made, I must have thought that it was the right decision. It must have been meant for me to make that decision, whatever decision it was, because it was meant for me to go through that mistake, to learn what I had to learn so that I can learn for the future. If that makes sense. I know that's a lot, but that's just how I look at things now. And that's how you can. And that, because people with high self-esteem, they allow themselves to make mistakes. They don't beat themselves up over mistake, And to get that high self-esteem, so that you won't be afraid of making those mistakes, it's just by making them and knowing that it's okay. It's really okay. Like, okay, keep going. Next. And see what else you got to learn, Let's see. And the next one is, I built my self-trust up by trusting my own ideas, honoring how I feel even if no one else feels the same, taking my own advice, and feeling confident to trust myself. And that came from allowing me to make mistakes. And so I built the self-trust by actually making the mistakes, because I'm making decisions for myself and not going to someone else. I feel like when you're afraid of making a mistake, you tend to go out looking for advice. You're dependent on someone else's advice. It's okay to get some advice, and it's okay to get some. But for everything, you can't go to someone else. Seek yourself. And and learn from those mistakes. It's okay. So when I started doing that and honoring myself and how I feel, regardless if anybody else felt like it, that can be hard because you don't want to, especially if you've been made to feel like you're weird or different for so long, and now here you go having some different feelings than someone else. But that's the beauty in it. That's what I'm starting to realize. That's the beauty in a lot of things, is having your own thoughts and feelings, because it's true to you. And those thoughts and feelings can change. It's okay. And the more you learn, the more you grow, and the more you take in, that can change. But it's okay to feel what you feel. Honor it. I allow myself to make mistakes because it happens sometimes with taking your own advice. But that built my self-trust. And as you recall in the beginning, I said that symptoms of low self-esteem is not having any self-trust. And not having any self-trust is because you haven't built it. And it may be because you've been so dependent on someone else telling you what to do. If you have someone tell you what to do your whole life, you're not going to trust yourself because no one has given you a chance to trust yourself. No one has given you room to make a mistake. You got to give yourself that. And it's going to be hard because you have to learn the hard way, and learning the hard way can hurt sometimes. But I promise you coming on the other side much better and feeling better about yourself. That's what made me feel better about myself and feel good, is because I made my own fucking mistakes. I made my own choices, and I went through what I felt at the time, whether it was right or wrong. It felt good and it felt right at the time, so I went through with it. Maybe I didn't get the results I wanted, but that's okay. I learned, and I tried again, and I kept going. And that's what you got to do. That's how you build your self-esteem. And let's see. Oh, this is a big one. All of them are big ones, but this one is. So I only spent time with people that accepted me for who I am and allowed me to be vulnerable, made me feel seen and heard. This is so important. Now, no, we can't depend on others, but you can't be around people that aren't making you feel good about yourself. Just simple as that. Why would you want to be around someone that makes you feel bad about yourself? So me being around my group of friends really, really, really helped me. And I didn't realize it was helping me until I started just being around them more. And it was because it was like my tribe, I always felt heard. I always felt seen, never made fun of. They accepted me for who I am and allowed me to be vulnerable. That's the big part. They allowed me to be myself. And if you feel like you can't be yourself or you're afraid to be yourself, that goes back to you believing things about yourself. I'm going to say something, and it may be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes your friends, sometimes strangers, people in the world, sometimes even romantic partners can treat you better and love you better than your own family, than your own parents. They can understand you better than your own parents. And yeah. And it's not a diss to your family. It's not a diss to your parents, especially some of us here may have had very good parents. Some of us here may not have the best parents, whatever it may be. Because I know they're like, honor your parents and all of this. Don't diss your family. That's family first. All of that is cool and all, but sometimes your family just don't quite get you. And you have to find people, your tribe, because you don't choose your family, but you can choose your tribe. And that's what makes it so beautiful, because you're choosing people that actually, feel good to you and actually, treat you good and understand you. Like, I feel like, especially my best friend, I feel like my friends just get me more than my family does. And And they love me. I'm not dissing them at all. I just feel like I come alive more around them, because I coach some women that feel like they have such a hard time around certain people or friends, around just people, certain people in general. And I had to make them understand, like, okay, so the people you're going around, how are they making you feel? Sometimes the people you're trying to mesh with or bond with or build a connection with aren't your people. And you have to realize that. If it's not working, if it's not bonding, don't force it. Those aren't your people. And it's just simple as that. And that's something that I had to realize. Like, I love my family very much, but being around my friends really helped me to work on myself and build myself. And it's not that I depended on them for my high self-esteem and to boost my self-esteem. It's more so like, while I'm trying to build myself up, I had a good environment to do it in. And that's what you got to do. You got to have the right environment to build yourself up. Can you imagine trying to work on your self-esteem and work on yourself around someone that constantly crosses boundaries, someone that constantly makes fun of you, someone that constantly puts you down, someone that doesn't understand you? It's going to be hard because it's like a tug of war. So you have to have a good environment to do all this work in. That's something that I realized. And something else that helped me is showing gratitude for the small things and keeping your bad attitude about life in check, because that can send you down a rabbit hole. There's always something to be thankful for, even when shit isn't good at the moment. That's something that I realized as well. Like, I feel like when you're in a bad mood, or when you're mad at life, or you're just in a funk mood, it's fine. But I feel like that just dampens your self-esteem, because then you start feeling that way about yourself. You start feeling just the bad feelings about yourself. You start self-loathing, and that's not good at all. It's not going to get you nowhere. It's just going to make you feel upset at yourself, upset at life. Just know. And it's a loop. And I think it's because it's a loop that's playing in your head. And sometimes you can get stuck in it. You can get stuck in shit so quickly. It's like being stuck in the mud, literally. Like, you can literally get stuck and start sinking. And so to pull yourself up out of that is start showing gratitude. I started showing gratitude when things go wrong, especially. I stop myself and try to find gratitude in what's going right. Gratitude for how far I've made it. Gratitude for the small things I have in my life. Shit, sometimes I'm even grateful for a sunny day. It sounds so corny. Just how sunny day. That sounded so corny. But I'm for real. Like, just going outside and being able to bask in the sun. Just being alive. Just being well. Just having good friends. Gratitude and that I get to go out with my friends. Like, I may not have the most money in the world right now, because I will have a lot of money, but I may not have the most money in the world right now, but I like that I have some extra sometimes to go out with friends and enjoy a good time, go enjoy a good drink. It's always something to be grateful for, always. And I feel like that will lighten your mood and make you feel good about yourself. So let's see. Here's another good one. I wrote down some good shit. When I be in my zone, I be writing down some good shit. And I have to write it down because I ain't gonna remember all of this. And I ain't ashamed to have to look down at my notes. It's all right. So, I set boundaries with my mom because I'm an adult now and I can stand up for myself. And when I say I set boundaries with my mom, it's that she has this tendency she's obsessed with weight. I don't know why. Maybe because her mom was obsessed with, she's just always obsessed with not getting too big, me not obsessed with somebody else getting bigger, or just, obsessed with somebody's weight. And she will sometimes try to tell me when I've picked up weight and all that. I've set boundaries with her, and when she starts to get down a rabbit hole talking about that shit, I'm like, we're not talking about my weight today. Or she talks about somebody else. We're not talking about someone else's weight. Like, leave that person alone. I set boundaries. You can do that now. It's like you're an adult. You're not that same child where she's going to whoop me for speaking up and telling her to stop. No. And so I had to get out that mindset that I was that little girl. I'm not the little girl anymore. And you're not going to sit here and just talk about me. I'm standing up for myself. Because it's like I've built myself up so much and I fell in love with me and my own thoughts of myself and got rid of your thoughts. You're not putting your thoughts back in my head. You're not. That's what that boundary is for. It's because I have built myself up so much. No one else is going to come in and pull me down. I'm not allowing it. Not even my own mother. And so whoever that person is in your life, whether it's a friend, sibling, father, mother, uncle, aunt, grandma, whoever it is, you may love them dearly, but you can set boundaries and tell them what you're not going to stand for. And you can't, and it's best sometimes you can even ignore it and don't feed into it because it's just projection. You can either say, we're not talking about that, or my weight is not up for discussion. My love life is not up for discussion. The way I like to wear my hair is not up for discussion. I like it. As simple as that. The way I wear my makeup is not up for discussion. The clothes I wear is not up for discussion. Whatever it is, you're setting that boundary saying it's not up for discussion because you feel good about it. Shut it down. Stop it. You have that power to do so. Remember that. Let's see. And another thing I did was I stopped talking myself out of manifestations and good things happening for me. I stopped doubting out of fear that it wouldn't happen as a way to lighten the blow when it doesn't happen. So what I mean by that is, sometimes what we tend to do, which can dampen our self-esteem a lot without us realizing it, is that we're so afraid that something is not going to happen that we tell ourselves up front that it's not. And so it's like we're preparing ourselves for the blow. And so we're like, we're not going to say anything good about it because it's probably not going to happen. That's how you mess yourself up and keep yourself in that negative loop. Think about what good could happen. Think about the good things that can happen and manifest it. And what helps me, like say if it doesn't go my way, okay, it wasn't that time. I'm going to keep going. But what is the point of thinking so negative all the time about stuff? I had to get out that mindset because I'm like, it's not helping me cope better. It's actually making me feel worse. And you'll get stuck in that loop of always feeling like the worst is going to happen because you feel like that's going to lighten the blow for when it do happen. But what you're doing is you're actually welcoming the worst to happen because that's all you see. That's all you want and that's all you're preparing for. Prepare for the best to happen. This makes more sense. And before I move off of that, it's like, I just learned to better cope and manage when things don't go quite my way. Instead of being so down about it, I realized it must not be meant right now. It must be meant at a later time. It went the way that it was supposed to go. But you can be happy up front, It's okay. Another thing, I stopped negatively comparing myself to others. It was making me miss out on me and how great I am. And so I realized that I do still slip up sometimes and compare myself to others. Not really more so looks. I've gotten out of that habit, but me with being, influencer now and building a brand now, I tend to compare myself and where I'm at in that journey with others. And I got to stop that. And so something that I've learned to do is revert back to me. Revert back to my brand. Revert back to how far I come. Revert back to what good I have going on. Because that's what sets me apart and makes me different. That's what makes you different. You got to realize that when you compare yourself, you're missing out on you. You're really missing out on you. Think about it. You're too busy focused in on what somebody else got, what somebody else is doing, and how they look or dress or whatever. And you got all of this right here and you're missing out on it because you're looking at them. And so something that I also learned to do is that instead of comparing myself, look at them as a way to expand. And look at them as, it's like the template. Okay, I can do that. I can grow, but you're going to do it your way. I always know that. Don't look at it as like everybody else and what they got and what they're doing is so far out of your reach. That can lower your self-esteem as well when you're thinking like that. When you're thinking like, oh, I can't ever have that, or I can't ever look like that. Oh, no. Yes, you can. You have the power to do so. You have the power to make your life go how you want it to go. All in the mindset. Look at them as a way to expand. Like, I seen all the girls on the internet, having their little makeup shots, taking their little pictures and stuff. And I'm like, I can do my makeup and look cute too. And I started doing it. And now comparing me to me, So that's what you got to do. And if you do slip up, revert back to you. I can't say that enough. It really works. Look at yourself and point out something good about you. And be like, well, I do like this about me. I do like this. Even find an old picture of you. I did look good that day. I took that picture and take some more pictures. Or I am doing well with this. Or compare you to where you were to where you are now. Do that. And spend time in doing that. If you do slip up, because you're not perfect. You're going to find yourself comparing yourself sometimes. Just know that you can do it too. Look at it as a way to expand. And then also revert back to you. All right. So that is really all I have for how to build your self-esteem up. And all of this stuff, it's going to take time. I'm not going to lie. It's going to take time and it's going to take work, but it is worth it. And if you had low self-esteem, it's because someone maybe made you have low self-esteem. You're not born with high or low self-esteem. You're not born with any of those things. But how you are treated and nurtured during your upbringing, whether it's from guardians, caregivers, people around you, that's what tells you if you're going to have high or low self-esteem. And hell, even sometimes life can come at you and give you low self-esteem. Stuff can happen in your life and make you feel low about yourself. But these things that I named can slowly build you back up. And it really starts with the mindset. All of this I said, that's why I put it at the top of the list. It really starts with reprogramming the negative thoughts. Because when you're in that loop, you can stay stuck. And that keeps your self-esteem low because you're stuck in that negative loop. And that's why when you go out and start dating in these relationships and even friendships, if one little thing is said or done, it's like it makes you hyper vigilant because you're like, I knew it. I already knew this about myself. And they're just making me feel that way even more. So it must be true. So you can't be on a negative loop because it's going to be your outlook. Okay. Start with the thoughts. Start with changing those. And everything else will follow. Okay. So that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. And to everybody else, YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Remember, for bonus content, to join my Patreon. It's just $5 a month, and you get access to up to 3 podcasts a week versus just the one, which would be bonus content regarding this. And if you feel like you need some coaching to help you with your self-esteem or whatever else you got going, I offer coaching for $30 a month, which is unlimited messaging. So it's like we're messaging like girlfriends, like you would on the phone, but you're in the Patreon messenger and we're talking back and forth, unlimited. I talk to y'all all day on there and I coach you, help you, whatever you got going. It all stays private. And if you want to talk to me on the phone, I charge $80 a month. You get one phone call for 1 hour a month, and you also get the coaching in the messenger. So I'm here to help you, talk to you one-on-one. And if you just want to listen to the podcast, you can. And you get book discounts also. And I'll be starting the live stream. They'll be on there and all that. So that's all I got, though. I hope this really helped y'all. Drop a comment if you got some other tips for self-esteem, something else that helped you, or you want me to talk about something else. Drop it in the comment if you want to hear, tell me what you want to hear, what you need help with. And tell me what you need help with. Drop it in the comments below. Or if this helped you, drop it in the comment below as well. So, thumbs it up, subscribe, and that's all I got. So until the next podcast episode, girlfriends and YouTube, peace out.